Change your heart, change your life, change the planet.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Van Orden coming to you from the Appalachian Trail in Woodford, Vermont. And it's a beautiful fall day, still pretty warm. Just the beech trees have leaves on them. The maples and oaks are gone, but the beech are still a nice pretty color. And I want to tell you about this workout today. I've really been struggling getting myself to move because for me, running is not just about fitness, it's not just about getting in shape, but it's much more so about regulating my physiology. And my physiology includes this. My brain is a physical thing. So movement for long periods of time transforms my body and therefore my brain, and in turn transforms what my mind feels and how it interprets the world, and therefore what it's capable of doing with the information that it's getting from the world. In other words, I'm a hell of a lot more positive and productive if I can spend hours out here every day. And this is my office. I bring my books that I listen to, I take extensive notes, and then I process those notes and add my own thoughts and incorporate them into philosophies and metaphors or tools, practices that I already have. Does this conflict? Is it new information that makes it better? Does it completely disconfirm this thing that I believed? So it's an ongoing process, and this is where I do my best thinking. And then I take that thinking back into the world and do something with it. So running for me is hugely important, or movement through the natural environment. And since I can't do these long bouts, my brain has created a kind of resistance to movement because it can't do the movement that it wants. And much of our brain is like the brain of a child. In fact, a huge portion of our brain is fully formed at birth. And it's the outer layer, the cortex, which most people consider the most evolutionarily advanced part of the brain, which is not really true because all of the brain advanced at the same time together, and they're deeply integrated with each other, these different components of the brain. But this outer layer, the cortex, is the last to develop, and especially up here, the prefrontal cortex, the so-called human brain, doesn't fully develop until you're 25 on average. So we're born as children with a fully formed, more primitive brain. Again, that's not really an accurate assessment, but that's how people generally describe it. And that part of our brain is still there as we turn into adults. And it's hugely important to our experience of being alive. So if that part of my brain says, you know what? If I can't get what I want, you don't get anything at all. You know, if I can't have you, then nobody can have you. It's kind of like that thing. And if I can't run long distance, well then I'm not going to run at all. So I have to deal with that. And that makes getting myself out the door really hard. So I get to practice these tools that I talk about in these videos on a daily basis. I really have to use them, especially now. So today, I thought I want to do something that really challenges my body without hurting my foot, without doing mileage. So what can I do? And what I've learned about myself, especially in times of challenge, is that if the motion or activity is fast or intense, there's a huge resistance to doing it, and I won't do it. And it'll just add to the stress of my life. It won't help regulate me or balance me. For instance, doing speed work, doing tempo runs, things like this. Generally, my tempo runs are in races because I can't get myself to move that fast on my own without a great deal of stress. But in a social environment, it's pretty easy for me. In fact, it's effortless, mentally, not physically. But on my own, that intensity and that speed is just really unappealing to my brain. My brain does a calculation and says, no, that fast movement, that abrupt shift into high gear is just too much. We need an easier transition. So what I thought today was, I'll drive out to the Appalachian Trail. It's 4 miles from my house on Vermont Route 9, and I will go up the north side of the trail, which I'm on now, come down, and then go up the south side of the trail, and then come back down, and that will be my workout. And if you've ever been to the AT going through Woodford, it's pretty much stone stairs climbing up both sides of the road. And just going up and down both sides is close to 2,000 feet in elevation gain, and then 2,000 feet of descent. So it's hard work. And I went a little bit further here on the north side, so I'm beyond the big climb, because I was feeling okay, and I wanted to try to get maybe 4.5 miles total. And the ironic thing about this particular workout is that it's really hard. Going up these stairs is a quad burner like you can't even imagine. The south side is the steepest, and we call that the 1,000 steps. That's the local name for it, and people really fear that. And hikers that have to go up or down it with backpacks on, it's brutal because it's steep. Climbs, I think, about 800 feet in less than 0.4 of a mile. So this is a really challenging workout, but because I'm not moving my arms fast and I'm not moving my legs fast, my brain still puts it in the category of a slow and gentle start. And I know that. I know that my brain will do this. So if I say I want to go out and do a hard workout that's about moving my body fast, my brain will reject it. My brain will say that's too abrupt of a transition, and it'll do its best to help me avoid that workout. But if I put myself onto the trail nice and slowly, and I go up the stairs nice and slowly, even though my quads are burning and my heart rate is really high and I'm breathing really hard, because my body's not moving quickly, my brain's okay with it. On some level, on some abstract level, it's equivalent to starting slowly, to being gentle. So it's kind of like a hack that I've discovered in my brain. And it's really useful because it keeps me consistent in my training, especially hard training, when I don't feel like it or when there's a great deal of resistance. So if you find yourself struggling, challenged, and can't get yourself to do workouts that are more physically demanding, try that. Try slow movement with some physical intensity, but not physical speed. And some of you may say that, well, yeah, that's great, you're getting your heart rate up, but because you're not moving your body fast, you're not going to be able to race fast. And I say, au contraire. This is the majority of my training now. I don't do speed work anymore. And again, my tempo runs are races. So once a week, I do race pace for whatever the distance, or at least I was before I got injured. But that's not as fast as speed work, especially on trails. Most of the races I do are mountain and trail races, and you're never really running that fast. You can't due to the terrain. So when I hop into a 5K and I'm able to run right around 5-minute pace, or maybe a little bit slower, that's from doing really slow training, even in my racing. So my experience is that this is equivalent to speed work when it comes to speed. And at the age of 49, to run as fast as I can, when able, without speed work, is a pretty big testament to that. Because when I was 39 and getting into the beginnings of this project and doing a lot of speed work in California, my 5K times were not nearly as fast as they have been in the past year. And I was 10 years younger. So go figure. Anyway, I'm coming to the really steep stairs now, so I'm going to turn the camera off so I don't fall. But those are my thoughts today, and hopefully there's some value in there for you. And as you can probably guess, I'm in a good mood because I got myself out here. And maybe it wasn't for 3 hours, but it was long enough and it was physically demanding enough that it caused a shift in me. And that's exciting. And now when I get to the road, I've got to go up the south side. Maybe I'll film that for you to show you what it looks like. All right, see ya.